The human spirit is incredibly resilient, even in the face of dire circumstances. Today, we will be looking at 5 chilling accounts of survival under extreme conditions. These true stories attest to extraordinary willpower, determination, and the innate survival instinct all humans possess. Get ready to be on the edge of your seat as we explore these profound narratives of enduring against all odds. Number 1. Nightmare in the Amazon Rainforest. Nightmare in the Amazon Rainforest, when dreams turn into waking terror. Introduce Robert, a seasoned adventurer with a penchant for treading the unbeaten path. This time, his courage, or perhaps recklessness, steers him straight into the stifling, crawling heart of the Amazon rainforest. A place unblemished by man-made disturbances, where the very air teems with a blend of life and threat. Robert was prepared for challenges, for encounters with glistening snakes and prowling jaguars. What he was unprepared for was the terror that had no form, no shape, but an eerie presence. The first few nights passed peacefully. Robert spent them wide awake, mesmerized by the symphony of the jungle, the crescendo of night calls, and the melody of the wind whistling through the looming trees. But then, on the 4th night, it happened. The rustling of leaves closer than usual, the hushed whispers that clung to the darkness just beyond the light of his campfire, the cold seeping dread that something was watching him. He shrugged it off as a trick of the mind due to the overwhelming solitude. But the whispers continued, each night growing bolder and louder. Things around his camp started moving. Upon waking, Robert would find his belongings scattered, his provisions ravaged. Whatever lurked in the shadows, Robert was not alone in the Amazon rainforest. The whispers soon morphed into grotesque, bestial laughter echoing through the darkness. Consumed by fear, Robert grew frantic. He could feel eyes on him constantly. In his dwindling sanity, he did something inconceivable. He followed the whispers, thinking he could reason with whatever it was. As he ventured deeper into the jungle, leaving the comforting glow of his campfire behind, the whisperings turned into a gut-wrenching roar. He froze. The darkness turned into impenetrable black, and a presence pushed him to the ground before everything went quiet. When Robert woke, he was back at his camp. Was it all just a nightmare? But as looked around, he found his camp untouched, his provisions intact, and his tracks alone. Alone? Chilling realization washed over him. He was alone, but he hadn't entered the jungle alone, and he wasn't alone now. He had a partner, a keen adventurer just like Robert, whose existence was now erased from his memory until now. Robert looked around the lone set of footprints around him as a distant whisper echoed through the jungle much clearer now. You're next. Number 2, Frozen Fears, Antarctic Justice. As we journey to the harsh and unforgiving environment of Antarctica in our second chilling tale, brace yourself for a bone-chilling narrative titled Frozen Fears, Antarctic Justice. In the early 2000s, a group of 6 intrepid explorers embarked on a daring expedition to the most desolate and frigid region of the world. Armed with their scientific curiosity and brimming with boundless optimism, they set off into the desolate landscape of Antarctica, unaware that an unspoken terror lurked in the icy shadows. At first, the venture progressed smoothly as the team of scientists managed to establish a small, makeshift base of operations. However, a week into their journey, a sinister force began to exert its influence. Each night, a horrendous and gut-wrenching howl would echo through the icy expanse. The sound was enough to quicken the pulse, cause the hair on the back of your neck to stand up, and extinguish any remaining warmth from your soul. Further fueling their fears, the explorers soon noticed that their equipment was routinely tampered with, and all attempts to communicate with the outside world were inexplicably jammed. It became clear that they were not alone. Something, or someone, was watching them. One by one, the members started to disappear, vanished without a trace into the frozen wilderness. And if the disappearance of their comrades was not terrifying enough, the remaining scientists stumbled upon gigantic, inhuman footprints in the frost, a chilling testament to the monster that stalked them. The reality hit them like a hailstorm. The legends of the Ice Yeti were real. Feeling like a mouse in a sinister game of cat and mouse, the remaining scientists huddled together, their faces drained of color. They passed long, horrifying nights under the spectral glow of the southern lights, anxiously holding their breath with each eerie moan carried by the wind. As their food supplies dwindled and their hope ran dry, they began to hear a voice, a dark whisper gnawing at the edges of their sanity. It was the voice of the Ice Yeti, they were sure of it. Twisted by the isolation, the blistering cold, and the palpable fear, they fell to infighting, every man for himself. In the end, only one scientist survived to tell the tale. As he was finally rescued and airlifted off the accursed continent, he locked eyes with the beast one final time. With a roar that chilled the air, the Ice Yeti morphed into the ethereal silhouette of an ancient Antarctic explorer whose doomed expedition met a similar end centuries ago. Haunted by the unnerving experience, the surviving explorer, forever scarred and profoundly changed, was left grappling with grim reality. The beast was not an evil entity after all, but an embodiment of the weird Antarctic justice dealt to those who dared to trespass its sacred domain. As his helicopter ascended into the pale skies, he could still hear the haunting roar echo into the icy abyss. Fear may fade, but the terrifying memories etched in the icy expanse of Antarctica will forever remain. Number 3. Dead Sea, Thirst for Blood. Dead Sea. Thirst for Blood begins with a group of thrill-seeking archaeologists undertaking an expedition in the harsh wilderness of the infamous Dead Sea region. Their mission was to uncover the long-lost ruins of a fallen empire hidden beneath the millennia-old salt plains. Little did they know that their untamed curiosity would lead them to face the harshest survival ordeal that would chill even the bravest hearts. Veins running cold and hearts thumping wildly, the explorers began their expedition with eager anticipation. On their first day, they defied the brutal heat, their faces beading with sweat and bodies gnarled by exhaustion. The setting sun cast eerie long shadows over the desolate expanse, their excitement dampened by the spine-chilling silence that the enveloping darkness brought. As hours turned into days, a fear-addled tension began to grasp the crew. Their supplies began to dwindle while their expectations of finding the ruins seemed to wane with every passing second. It was then they stumbled upon an ancient, desiccated well. Struck by thirst and desperation, the archaeologists decided to explore it, hoping they could find some remnants of water to quench their parched throats. But none of them could have even remotely imagined what their next move would unleash. As they descended deeper into the well, a palpable sense of terror swept over them. The walls were not clad in stones or rocks, but, to their utter disbelief, skulls. Hundreds of them, forming a macabre tapestry of death, their empty eye sockets staring back at the intruders. The chilling sight drained the last bit of their courage. The terror-dipped silence was shattered when a guttural whisper echoed through the well, a voice ancient and horrifying, promising a thirst for blood. Struck by an unknown force, the explorers fell one by one, gripped by an unexplainable madness. Their screams of terror drowned in the haunting whisper that seemed to amplify with each passing second. Days turned into a nightmarish blur for the hapless archaeologists, stranded in a well of horror. The desperate cries for help never left the salt-laced air of the Dead Sea, as one by one they succumbed to the chilling thirst for their blood. As the last of the crew breathed his final horrific moments, he glimpsed a terrifying sight. The skeletal hands of the countless skulls suddenly moved, like a gruesome puppet show, reaching for him as the echo of the haunting whisper grew louder in his ears. The last thing he saw was an army of grinning skulls, diving into a sinister dance at the sight of their prey. Dead Sea, thirst for blood leaves us at the terrifying edge of death's door, serving a chilling reminder of the dark horrors that can lurk in the most unlikely places, and that some secrets, like the ruins beneath the Dead Sea Plains, are better left undisturbed. Number 4. Haunted High Peaks, Himalayan Hell. Haunted High Peaks, Himalayan Hell. Perched majestically above the world, the towering peaks of the Himalayas have long been seen as an adventurer's final frontier. But what if the greatest challenge is not the climb itself, but the unseen malevolent forces that lurk in the icy shadows, waiting to unleash a chilling horror on the unsuspecting climbers? The story begins with a group of experienced mountaineers who embark on their lifelong dream to conquer the Himalayan peaks. Little did they know, these formidable heights held sinister secrets buried deep within the frost-bitten territories. The group, thrilled with the prospect of adventure and chills of danger, was oblivious to the horror they were about to face. As they began their arduous ascent, the chilling winds that whipped across their faces felt almost unnatural, raising goosebumps not just from the freezing temperature, but also a twisted sense of fear. Their sleep was haunted with terrifying whispers, eerie echoes seeping into their dreams from concealed corners of the icy wilderness outside their tents. One night, the group awoke to an ungodly blizzard, the ferocity of which challenged their survival instincts. The relentless snowfall, coupled with a suffocating silence, brought an inexplicable dread. The bleak white landscape of the snow-cloaked mountains washed away any hope of safety. Each passing moment was laced with a sense of impending doom. In desperation, they descended into a nearby cavern, seeking refuge from the destructive blizzard. The cave was anything but a sanctuary. The ghostly howls and eerie whispers grew louder, filling their hearts with a nameless dread. As they ventured deeper, one by one, they started to disappear, swallowed by the frost-ridden darkness. Frightened whispers turned into panicked cries. The last of the mountaineers was found days later, delirious and frostbitten, whispering incomprehensibly of towering ice figures and eyes glowing in the dark. Although he never breathed a word of those horrific days again, his haunted eyes told a tale of a harrowing encounter in the deathly, silent peaks. Haunted High Peaks. Himalayan Hell is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are not the ones that lurk under our beds, but those that dwell in the unexplored corners of our world. The mountains called, and for some, the echoes of their screams will forever ring in those icy abysses. A tale of human courage confronted by a horror as ancient as the mountains themselves, where the survivors are not victors, only reminders of the monstrous terror dwelling in the heart of the Himalayas. Number 5. Deserted Islands' Unseen Terror. On a balmy summer day, a small group of 5 friends left the haven of civilization for an adventure on a remote Pacific island. The deserted island, untouched by the modern world, was termed by locals as Mata Bebelith, or the Death's Playground. The eerie tale that surrounded this island was of a monstrous unseen terror that lurked among the dense forest, a tale dismissed by our friends as mere folklore. Undeterred by the spine-chilling stories, the friends set foot on the island, armed with courage and excitement. They spent the first few days exploring the exotic flora and fauna, swimming in the turquoise waters, scavenging for food, and sharing ghost stories by the fire. Life on the deserted island seemed joyous and untouched, an adventurous departure from the drone of their everyday lives. Then one night, without warning, the tranquil silence was ripped apart by blood-curdling screams in the distance. Bobby, the boldest in the group, found himself paralyzed by a profound dread that seemed to rise from his very soul. Racing heartbeats reverberated in the deathly silence of the night as the group of friends realized that they were no longer alone. The terrifying noises broke the calm and sent a chilling shudder coursing through their veins. The following morning, 2 friends ventured into the forest, hoping to trace the source of the eerie screams. They never returned. A sinister, poisonous fear gripped the remaining friends. Sleep was elusive as night prowled with the terror of the unseen, and the island now echoed with the same ominous whispers that the locals had warned about. Remaining 3 friends, Bobby, Sarah, and John, were left in a horrifying deadlock, with the fear of the unknown getting the better of them. There was no way off the island without their boat, which was mysteriously missing. On the final night, Sarah and John disappeared, leaving behind only Bobby, who was paralyzed with fear. As the sun rose, Bobby was found by a passing fishing boat, alone and trembling, on the shores of the island, with a vacant gaze that spoke volumes of the unseen tropical terror that lurked within. The once vibrant and adventurous individual was now reduced to an unmitigated shadow of terror by the horrors that the deserted island had inflicted on him. The island, ever since, stands as an embodiment of absolute dread, a place where the unseen pave your path to horror. Bobby's transfixed eyes, forever haunted, serve as living testimony to the unseen terror that crawls beneath the vibrant beauty of the deserted island. An unfathomable presence which, once you feel it, never leaves you. It sends shivers down your spine even in the safety of your home, as a bone-chilling reminder of the terror that lurks when nature flips its ominous side. Our journey through these horrifying survival stories takes us to the darkest corners of the earth, reminding us of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of chilling adversity. Let these daunting tales be a testament to our shared courage and indomitable will. If you've enjoyed being thrilled and chilled, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more petrifying adventures. Thanks for joining us, and catch you on the flip side.